Hi everyone, I just wanted to touch base with you guys for Leo season. Have to talk about the transits that occurred the last 2 weeks. There was actually a reason. I wasn't just lazing around. I did, in fact, write all of my notes for the transits for the last 2 weeks, but I also had transits affecting me too, guys. So I'll be talking about that on my website. Check it out at kwoo.com. You can also get the monthly transits, so all of the transits that are active for the entire Leo season will be described there, as well as the monthly tarot if you haven't checked it out already. But yeah, so anyway, let's get into week one. So firstly, Venus is just stationing retrograde on the 22nd. It'll be hovering at 28 degrees all week. So just try a trine to the North Node, which just entered Aries. So the Sun entering Leo and the North Nodes in Aries, slowly but surely moving over the space where Chiron is going. We have ego urges are being clarified. We're trying to find the nugget of wisdom in being who we are. It's not only the time to redefine, but to rediscover, to recover, and to strengthen your self-belief, your self-regard, and to create a plan for establishing creative, financial, and even physical independence for some of us. On the 23rd, we also have the Leo Sun square the North Node in Taurus. The Virgo moon is going to be trine Pluto in Capricorn just before it enters Libra. So feelings might be intense with this aspect, but sensitivity is also increased. So we want to be watching how we're moving, because whatever results will be tangibly felt. That means it'll be felt in your body. It'll be felt in your practical and day-to-day routines. You may be watching other people that you care about be impacted in these ways. Thankfully, these are both earthy placements, so while there might be some anxiety with the Virgo moon, we can focus our attention on practical pursuits. It's a great way of channeling the energy productively, so take care of your daily routine. Iron out your schedules, take a look at your budget, clean up the house, wash your body, exfoliate, for example, with Virgo. It's about getting the details. You want to make a plan, and you want to shut out extra shit. Get rid of the superfluous, get rid of things that are no longer useful, get rid of things that are hindering growth in other areas, for example. Get it done. That's what Mars and Virgo is all about. The Leo energy, because it's so active and fiery, will be motivating you. You're motivated out of self-interest to a degree, but you're also motivated to handle practical things with the earth energy of Capricorn and Virgo and Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus. So we also have Mercury conjunct Lilith and Leo. Mercury will also be squaring Uranus and Taurus at this point. So Mercury and Leo is creative thought processes. It's the day to get your idea on paper and then try a few ways to execute it. The mind is eager to explore possibilities with the square to Uranus. And then we have Lilith in the mix, which is breaking free of limitations on our self-expression and our personal power, which will be the goal. Now, there will definitely be some urge to dominate conversations with all of this Leo energy, making yourself stand out, etc. But the best use of the energy would be to authentically express yourself while simultaneously accepting, encouraging, and making space for the need in those around you to do the same thing. So they'll be trying to set themselves apart. They'll be trying to show what makes them special. They'll be exploring their own creative urges. So the key is to listen for resonance, to communicate with an eye on resonance. Collaboration might be a little bit difficult because of the egoic impulses, generally, unless it's going to be centering around general multiple ideas where everybody gets a chance to be heard. You just want to make sure that everyone is being truly heard, which means you're listening for understanding and not to respond. If collaborations and group efforts do reduce to malicious competitiveness, you want to go about your business solo. This is a really positive aspect for expressing creativity, and I feel like the strife is not quite worth wasting the potential of the transit to get your creative juices flowing again, especially for those who it's been a while since you expressed your creativity, since you explored your creative self, since you know, looked into different ways other than those that you're most familiar with of expressing yourself at a creative level. And then we have Chiron, which is going to be stationing retrograde in Aries. So we're reevaluating your pain points and who you become through your effort to tend the wound of your existence, of being who you are. So your recent efforts to define, to refine, to fortify your literal identity have been telling. Now you get an opportunity to look back and review the information and then use the information that you've gotten from those efforts to upgrade the plan. So you're embodying independence and autonomy, and that's the goal. How do you go about doing that in a way that's authentic to who you are and to the struggles that you have experienced just by being who you are? You do that through directed action with Aries energy, through healthy self-interest and a maintenance of the physical body. So this will be a great time, especially with Mars in Virgo, to consider adopting a fitness plan, something that with Leo energy and the Venus retrograde and Venus energy, it might be on a superficial level, like you want to look good, you want to feel good in your body, but it's also about being healthy. It's about having a healthy self-interest, which includes addressing not only the aesthetics, but how the body is functioning, how the body is feeling, what's going on inside the body. How can you better align with the energy? This is the time to think on that. So then you have Mars Saturn opposition, which is waning as Leo season begins. It takes place just after a few days after the new moon is when it's going to exact, right before Leo season begins. So the question to ask, and this should be the main focus not only of the day, but I would say as long as Mars is in Virgo and Saturn is in Pisces, you're going to be asking this question. So why don't we want to do what we need to do? You can utilize the Mars in Virgo energy to create and implement an effective plan for addressing the issues that cloud your sense of purpose. And this is the sense of purpose that you should be getting, or you would like to receive, typically from successfully handling your responsibilities, from doing what you need to do. There's a sense of purpose in that. There's a sense of confidence that you get from doing the things that you're supposed to do successfully, practicing discipline, being pragmatic, etc. And I struggle with this. So, you know, I'm explaining the aspects as they're playing out for all of us, but I'm aware that we're all at different levels of, you know, utilizing the energy. Just keep that in mind. The moon on the 24th is going to move into Libra, and it's going to oppose Chiron in Aries. So your pain points might be triggered by someone else's effort to assert their needs and desires today. They might be in direct conflict with what it is that you wish to do or how you wish to relate to the person in question. Now, this is not a compromising aspect. An opposition is two directly opposing viewpoints or ways of operating, and there needs to either be a separation or, you know, a switching back and forth so that each person has an opportunity to do it their way, for example, in terms of how the planetary aspects are working together. So we're looking at the moon in Libra trying to relate, trying to connect, trying to balance out relations interpersonally. And then we have Chiron in Aries, who is trying to heal the wound of being itself, and where Libra is prone to compromising its desires for the pair. Aries energy is asking you to do just the opposite. So just keep that in mind. It might be a day to simply live and let live until the energy passes, but it also might be a call to reevaluate how the relationship serves you in the first place. So clear and direct communication will be important, and it's very important to be communicating with compassion. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's a great use of Chiron and Aries energy. And it'll be important especially today if you do choose this day to work out your relational issues. Libra moon on the 25th will be sextile Mercury in Leo. So there's an increase in conversation, especially in your one-to-one relationships or about your one-to-one relationships. So you may actually be discussing relationships in general or a specific relationship. The moon will also be square to Pluto and Capricorn, so it might be easy today to become fixated on your relationships, fixated on your social status in comparison to that of others or your reputation. Power games might tend towards the passive aggressive sort with the Libra earth energy, rather than outright contradiction in conversations or in collaborations. For example, there's like an effort to draw in support of your viewpoint in when someone else is voicing or expressing their viewpoint or acting on it. So do watch for intellectual conversations, for example, becoming a battle of the wits, when really it's just the ego talking. Communication, it's important to remember that when communication is healthy, there's space for opposing viewpoints, and be aware that you can learn something even if you disagree. So then we have the moon entering Scorpio on the same day. This is the first quarter moon. We might be motivated to dig into the motivations of those around us, psychoanalyzing others' reactions, or going deep into the rabbit hole of our occult studies. Now, the Scorpio moon trines Saturn as well, so it might be easier than usual to keep the emotions under control despite the watery implication of emotional intensity that we're typically used to. The moon will encourage solo exploration of your own motivations as well, so that's good information to be taken in and trying to keep in mind going forward. You're thinking about how your motivations impact your spiritual beliefs and aspirations, for example, with the Saturn and Pisces energy. Then we have Lilith and Leo square Uranus and Taurus. There might be a strong urge to break the rules that you set for yourself. Watch for being antagonistic without the possibility for positive results from being antagonistic or for breaking the boundaries or the rules. You don't want to undermine your own power with knee-jerk reactions. You don't want to let that be the way that you buck the outdated systems. You want to do that in a strategic way that allows you to fortify a new structure, a new foundation, etc. The moon opposes Jupiter and in Taurus, and it's going to be a waning trine to Saturn. So self-initiated projects are supported. While you might be motivated So, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my camera, while you might be motivated to act benevolently toward other people, you might reject any demands made of you. And that can make some of us come off as being helpful with an ulterior motive due to the resistance to outside influence, which the fixed signs are notorious for. And check out my post on the fixed signs if you're curious about how that energy can tend to play out. It may be easier to work on behalf of others or be generous toward them if you are doing so independently. So, for example, because we're resistant to having other people make demands of us on this day or place their expectations and project them onto us, but we're feeling magnanimous and wanting to be benevolent, this would be the day where you work on somebody's behalf, but you're doing it on your own. You know, you're doing a favor for somebody, running an errand, etc., etc. Something that you might recognize that they need, or something that you might want to assist or do for them or gift them with, but doing it on your own. And then on the 27th, we have the moon square Lilith, Mercury, and Venus retrograde in Leo. So this is the Scorpio moon. Today we're going to be getting the way we get our emotional needs met might draw ire from those closest to us. The impetus to set yourself apart might conflict with the desire to engage at a deep, intimate level and build trust. It's important that despite differences, you keep your eye out for ways that we resonate with those around us and try to focus your collaborative efforts in this direction. So looking for the commonalities, and using the things that you feel make you special, to bring out the same in others or to work towards the benefit of the group at large. Validate yourself while working in service to yourself and the collective. In other words, the moon also opposes Uranus, so excitability is going to be high today. There's a huge fucking chance many of you will be jumping to conclusions, myself included. Lord knows I have 2 Leo placements and a strong Uranus, so this is how I operate on the day-to-day. Anyway, even as the moon changes signs, this is going to be a possibility. So it is not a great day to make decisions, since most of us will also be dealing with an increase in impulsivity. Give yourself a few minutes, a few hours, just wait till tomorrow. Ruminate on the action plans that emerge within your mind, or that are presented to you, so that you don't mistake an illusion for an opportunity or just an op. The Sagittarius moon is going to be trine the sun in Leo, so you'll find it easy to align your emotions with your intentions. Just be careful how you embody and act on that. This will strengthen efforts to correct or improve in the houses where Leo and Sag are in the charts, especially with that Mars and Virgo square. It'll also bolster that house. Despite the square, there's a realization that your desire to improve requires you align your actions with your deeper motivations. So your core Leo rules the heart space. Align yourself in ways that are practically based on your lived experiences and what you've learned from them with the Sagittarius energy. The tension is meant to motivate you toward that alignment. Mercury is quincunx Neptune, so the mind might be inclined to drift towards dreaminess, and our spiritual pursuits, for example, more so in the mind, but you're not at all seeing everything clearly with this transit by itself. Thankfully, though, Mercury is exactly conjunct Venus at the same time, so it's going to be softening the impact of the mental fog on your day-to-day, on, if you act on something that you're not totally clear on. This is sort of a softening aspect for the consequences of that. On the 28th, you have the Sagittarius moon still trine the Leo sun, so we're still getting a dose of that directed focus. The moon is squaring Saturn as well as squaring Mars, so sobering our enthusiasm, curbing our egos a little bit will be important, but the motivation remains high with the square to Virgo. Any tension or conflict or chaos that ensues kind of helps us to improve our methods and align in even greater authenticity. So, chaotic results, conflict, etc. Anything that comes up as a result of your efforts to improve your life in a way that's more authentic to you is meant to show you what areas still need work, what areas still need attention, what areas need more careful planning or more practicality and less ego-based action and behavior. There's a potential to come on strong today, but if it's channeled properly, you can infuse creative projects with wisdom gained from your experience. The moon, like I said, is going to be square Virgo, so do be careful that your efforts to improve are self-focused and not excuses to dole out harsh criticism to other people out of mistaken sense of superiority. Mercury conjuncts Venus retrograde. That's going to be exact on this day. So it's a great day to try embodying the awareness that's come up since Leo season began on the 22nd, which is when Venus originally went retrograde. It's a good moment of clarity during the fog of the retrograde and the Neptune energy to review. And it's great for modes of artistic expression, especially what you create today might definitely get you paid when Venus comes back to this point directly. Or it might just help you make a name for yourself in shiny Leo fashion. So look out for that if you're trying to build a reputation in some area of your life. The moon trines Chiron on the 29th in Aries as it moves into Libra. It also trines the North Node, in Sagittarius, not in Libra, and Lilith and Venus in Leo. So the moon is trying all of these at the same time. The best way to nurture the wound of being yourself is unapologetic self-expression. With the sun in Leo, exploring various creative outlets for every part of yourself is a great way to engage this aspect. Try to resist the urge, though, to stamp out the fire in those around you. That's low vibrational Leo energy when you see somebody else shining and standing out and you want to like knock them down a few notches. And we've all done it, so don't be acting like this isn't you. We're human. Any inclination to behave this way in response is a sign that we're aligning with what we think individuality means and not with our heart space, which is what Leo rules over. Acting authentically and from the heart, regardless of how it sets you apart or does not set you apart. Mercury enters Virgo, which is its domicile. So Mercury is in its second home. So the planets of thoughts and communication, data and analysis moves into the second home while Mars is here. And we'll be implementing a plan of action that efficiently addresses your health routines, your capacity for service to the collective. And that's how we close out the month with Mercury changing signs and sort of trying to catch up with Mars. So it's a quickening aspect as the week closes out. You'll be noticing that your thoughts get more clear as that Neptune aspect wanes. Now, be aware that Mercury is going to be following Mars, so all the aspects that it made to that Mars made to Saturn and Pisces, Mercury is now going to be activating. And so this is the time to review what happened, what you were doing, what impulses you were following through on when Mars hit this point. This is a time for clarity. You get to see the results. You get to clarify the plan. So hopefully this finds you all well. Check me out. Leave me a comment. Drop on the website to check out the tarot or just to say hi. And I will see you guys next week.